Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Truth Report for this week. Our parashat is Numbers 1, Numbers 1 through 4:20. It's entitled Bamidbar, namely translated in the desert. And it deals initially with a head count of the number of the tribe, number of the people in each one of the tribes of Israel and their arrangement, their tribal camps where they're arranged geographically around each other. But I want to focus more on the Haftorah. It's from Hosea chapter 2, verses 1 through 23. And the book of Hosea deals with, through the prophet Hosea, by requiring Hosea to take a wife who is a prostitute. And he is to so watch over her and supervise her and guard her and in such a way that she returns to him. And it's really a metaphor, if you will, of God's dealing with his own people who have prostituted themselves from him. They worship idols, they have profaned his name, and yet there is a means by which he will bring them back to himself. And he uses Hosea and his relationship to his wife, who's a prostitute, to do this. And one of the means by which he does this is given to us in Hosea chapter 2, verse 6, where God says, "Therefore I will block her path," Hosea's wife, "I will block her path with thorn bushes," with prickly, stickly, painful afflictions that will block her path, things that she'll step on that will hurt her, things that she handles that's going to bring hardship and affliction and pain to her. "I will block her path with thorn bushes. I will wall her in so that she cannot find her way." She'll be frustrated. She'll not know where to go, but she can only go so far. She has limitations. She has boundaries placed on her by Hosea, but in this case by God. And then it says this, "She'll chase after her lovers, but not catch them. She'll look for them, but not find them. Then she will say, I will go back to my husband at first, for then I was better off than now." But what is it drives her back? The painful afflictions, the path that is strewn with thorn bushes that cause her great pain and affliction. She's blocked in, she's frustrated, God's people being I said, what's the importance of this? As I read this, I thought of the election year that we're facing and those who aspire to lead us. And my prayer is that God would do for our political aspirants what he did with Hosea's wife. That he would block their path with thorn bushes. That he would bring painful, stickly afflictions that would govern the direction that are going to go. That will cause them to back up and see that they need help with their pain and their hardship. My prayer is that he would wall them in so that they cannot find their way. He'd put limitations, boundaries on them so that they would be frustrated, perhaps in their own way, but not frustrated in the way of following God. This is a critical election, the most critical in the history of our country, I believe. And it's very important that we pray for those who aspire to lead us. And my prayer is what God said with regard to Hosea's wife. "I'll block their path with thorn bushes. I'll wall them in so that they cannot find their way." Because that's what's necessary. That's the prelude to what they'll say. Then they will say, "I will go back to my husband." It's the hardship and the affliction that will get our attention and get those who would lead us, get their attention, and move us back to a proper relationship to God. May he do what only he can do. God says this, the Most High is sovereign over the kingdoms of men. He gives them to anyone that he wishes. He places over them the lowliest of men. And you've heard me say before, God places over us the lowliest of leaders so that we'll not look to them, but we'll look to the Most High God. For there's where our help is. There's where our provision is. There is where our protection is, the Most Holy One of Israel. May God grant us that, because that is the truth.